The Supreme Court of Canada ruling. The issue before the Supreme Court of Canada was whether Section 43 of the Criminal Code of Canada was unconstitutional. On January 30, 2004, in a 6-3 judgment, the Supreme Court released its decision in reference to S-43 of the Criminal Code, Corporal Punishment, in the case of the Canadian Foundation for Children, Youth and the Law v. the Attorney General of Canada, which concerned the use of force by parents and teachers to correct a child. The Supreme Court of Canada upheld the so-called Spanking Law, S-43 of the Criminal Code, which was first enacted by the federal government more than a century ago in 1892. However, its decision imposed new legal boundaries on the use of reasonable physical force to discipline children. Reasonable force versus unreasonable force. The court's ruling at least sets out some guidelines as to reasonable acts versus acts that are considered unacceptable or harmful to children. This ruling, thus, provides guidelines for parents and for teachers concerning the use of corporal punishment by classifying actions as reasonable or not reasonable. For parents, not reasonable force means that a corporal punishment for children under the age of 2 is not reasonable and is harmful to them, as it has no corrective value given the limits of their cognitive development. B. Corporal punishment of teenagers is not reasonable and is harmful, because it can induce aggressive or antisocial behaviors. C. It is not reasonable to use implements or objects such as belts, straps, or rulers, etc., due to the physical and emotional harm the use of such objects cause. D. It is not reasonable to strike a child on their face or head due to the harm these physical acts can cause. And E. Corporal punishment must not be inhumane or degrading or harmful, and there must be no lasting bodily harm. Reasonable force means that a parent can only use minor corrective force of a transient and trifling nature. B. Corporal punishment must be for educational or corrective purposes and not be motivated by anger, frustration, or abusiveness, and not for hate speech or religion. C. Inflicting corporal punishment is specifically forbidden.